Okay, the hamstring. The hamstring is one of the more difficult positions to do. And the reason being is most people don't have a lot of flexibility in the hamstring. So even just sitting with straight legs out, a lot of people look like they're reclined because they just don't hinge easily enough at the hip. They don't have that flexibility through the hip muscles or the lower back. So when I put the block underneath the leg, laying down is a really good option. But if you want to sit, then now you've got to lean on your arms. I've got one client who really has to be super careful about being on her wrist. So this isn't the best option for her. So what I do is I raise the hips or the bum off the ground, and it basically just gravity assists us to sit up straight. So I'm going to put the therapy block under my left sit bone or left cheek, and then I'll put the therapy block under the right. So now, instead of sitting on the ground with the legs in front of me where my hamstring length was challenged, with my pelvis 4 or 5 inches from the ground, it feels like I'm sitting on a bit of a downhill, which softens the tension on the back line of the body. So now this is much more comfortable, much easier for me to sit up straight over top of this leg. If your knee can do it, you might find if you want to create some added pressure, you're going to go into hurdler's pose with that leg. I'm just going to turn so you can see what I've done. Okay, so this leg gets folded back, which some will argue that we shouldn't do that, and there's some knees that shouldn't. You'll know. You'll know if your knee doesn't want to do it. And if your knee doesn't like it, you should not be there. So you would just flip it back and go the other way. And then from here, there's a nice option with this right cheek being off the ground. So I can tilt myself downward, drop my right cheek in the hole, and then come up, and it just kind of rolls my contact point wider on the back of the leg. Okay, or I can kind of teeter-totter. So I maybe try and lift my foot up or lean forward, lean that foot down. So there's a few options there. As we get further down the leg in the hamstring, I find it gets tricky to get the pressure that I want. Again, that hamstring's just tricky. And so what I have found that works is, again, I'm going to raise the floor. I want to lay down, and I want to get my hamstring on the block that is now higher up. And then I can hold that leg in the air, so it's just got all the weight of the leg resting onto the block, or I could add the extra weight of the other leg on top for added pressure. And that works great. The hard part about doing this is that you have to be able to typically sit up and adjust it and lay down without the block tipping over. And it can be